beat Kofi and hold him back from going for another yet another opportunity at a WrestleMania match. Which, after that, I went on social media. I'm kind of like, I have zero interest in this match now. Like, even if Kofi wins, right? Or say if Kofi has a moment where he still somehow manages to get himself into this match against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Now at this point, you're under 2 weeks out. And you'll have that show and one more show to build up to what was once believed, the most prestigious spot in WrestleMania, the WWE Championship match. And, my complaints are the storyline is more long, it's more drawn out and complicated than it needs to be. If they had just had Kofi win on Tuesday, and go on from there, okay, then there's no problem. There's legitimately no problem. Now you're adding an extra step to an extra unnecessary step to this process, and it's really annoying for me as a fan, because I get the whole against all odds and defeating the odds and this that, but now you're making it uncomfortable for a couple of reasons. One, I've heard from places that this match has kind of a race agenda to it. I don't know how I feel about that, because it's possible that there's an underlying issue there they're kind of covering. It's one of those other moments too where it almost feels like they're feeding the marks, for lack of a better way of putting it. They're feeding the marks with how they'll say WWE has a racist agenda and they have a past of not treating or allowing African American athletes to have that kind of that spotlight. And I don't know if it's so much like, because when Vince goes, people like you, I don't know what he means. I don't know what they're trying to mean. But it's also kind of feeding into the agenda of like how the company, Vince McMahon being the chairman of the board, basically feeding into that now. And the New Day are going into, I don't know how blunt they're going to go with it, but they're subtly, I think, going that route. Do I think that was necessarily needed? No. If they go blunt, even more blunt, and kind of be like, I'm saying this kind of like in the term of like, if you ever watch Good Burger with Kel going to Keenan, is it because I'm black? They could very well go that route. And I don't believe it's necessary. I don't want it to be that way. Kofi. Big E had a promo that he cut, seemed like from his camera phone, in a hotel about the whole ordeal and how things have been unfolding, and that's also feeding into the marks, because for anybody who really believes it, first things that people are, out of people's mouths are going to be, oh well, what is it? Trying to think of how to word this. That they'll be going to AEW, they'll be going to Impact, like they'll be leaving. They're feeding the marks that way too. because with Gallows and Anderson not renewing their deals, with other talents not renewing their deals, talents looking to get out, talents who have gotten out. It's a very real thing, too, in the back of a lot of these people's mind that, that these talents can up and go, I guess, whenever they please. I don't know if it's necessarily, I know it's not necessarily how it works, but it certainly seems like they're feeding into the marks in more ways than one. One, I don't mind because, again, it's very real. The second, it's just kind of making it a stretch. I don't really, I don't see the necessity behind it. But oh, this is interesting. I don't know what to think, because, I really don't know how to put it into words. It's really going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. But from here on out, I have zero interest in this feud. I have zero interest in this match even happening. I have zero interest in the result of the match. Now, if Kofi wins, which would be extraordinary on multiple levels, I'll be interested in that moment. I'll be watching all 5-6 hours of WrestleMania, 7 hours, I guess, including the pre-shows. I'll be looking to see what happens. But is it like that match that's on the forefront of my list of like, oh, I have to see that at WrestleMania? No. Because, truthfully, I'd rather watch AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. I'd rather watch Becky and Charlotte and Ronda. I would even watch, even with the minimal build that it's been having, I would much rather watch Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Because if Brock has shown anything over the last few years since he's been back, he loves working the smaller guys. And he will make them look like $1,000,000. So, compared to him, Seth is definitely that smaller guy that Brock seems to have fun working with. And it's sad because I would always look forward to the WWE Championship matches every year at WrestleMania, because that was the match to look forward to, whether, even the days of the first brand split, if this is what, WWE Championship, Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 20. I was just watching that event today. WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle, another match I was looking forward to. WWE Championship, WrestleMania 21, JBL versus John Cena, which was basically the beginning. Well, WrestleMania 20 was really the beginning of the John Cena rise to the top. Let's just be very honest. But his first World Championship run, WWE Championship, you look at Austin Rock. You look at Jericho, Triple H, which was okay. You look at I'm trying to even think of any other decent WWE Championship matches I could. Even Nakamura Styles last year. It's just the fact that you're defending the most prestigious prize in all of pro wrestling, really, to be a part of a WWE World Championship match at WrestleMania is awesome. It's a big honor, even though I believe the honor in competing at WrestleMania as a whole has faded. There's still that mystique. There's still that prestige of being in the championship match at WrestleMania. I don't think that's the case for the Universal Championship by a long shot, but I think of it like with the World Championship again, Edge versus Undertaker, Batista, Triple H, Benoit, Triple H, Michaels. I look at all those. Batista, Undertaker. You look at all that. Edge, was it Edge Jericho or Edge Punk? I think it was Edge Jericho. I don't even remember. For WrestleMania 26. That was a good one. But I'm not looking forward to Kofi Daniel Bryan. I'm not looking forward to Kofi Daniel Bryan at all. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that at all. But either way, that was my thoughts on SmackDown. One big segment. And by the way, this is something else I kind of wanted to bring up too while I'm at it. Going with, the way that people are talking about, they're feeding into the marks or Big E's promo of like, oh, well, we got to evaluate and see what we really want to do here. What are we doing here? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you got people, whether, yeah, you look at like David Starr, who just got in trouble by Ring of Honor for a promo that he cut because David Starr is wrestling for the Ring of Honor Championship in Israel against presumably the champion at the time, Jay Lethal, and he cut a promo basically bashing Sinclair Broadcasting and Ring of Honor, and they threatened if the video didn't get pulled down by David that the match would be off between Lethal and David Starr. And I mean, I saw it. I thought it was excellent, despite the bashing. But you look at, Silas Young. I don't know how much this is real or this is a work. Working for Ring of Honor is like an abusive marriage, 6 years in sickness and health. And when it's the big show, it's sorry, got nothing for you. Every wrestling company is going to be like that, especially when suits get involved. So it's an interesting time in pro wrestling. I mean, there's a lot more to it than whatnot. So yeah, we'll look more into WrestleMania matches as we go on with the show. But I'm going to take a break really quick. Play a match, and I'll be right back after that. We'll talk about some trademarks that AEW is trying to file, WWE moving their corporate headquarters, and we're going to talk about a little more about WrestleMania and certain interesting turn of events that are more than likely happening. So hang tight. I'll be right back. All right. Welcome back to Open Mic Wrestling Night here live, twitch.tv/Calypso426. And if you're not watching live, March 21st, 2019, you're listening by way of Filling the Void Podcast Network, Spreaker.com/filling_the_void, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, and all the different ways you can watch podcasts. And it's funny because during that match, I'm watching this documentary, and I like documentaries, whether it be there was one on Netflix about Studio 54. That one was really good. That I would recommend watching. But this one was an HBO documentary on the whole Gypsy Rose Blanchard incident. I mean, if you haven't heard of it, it's actually a very, very sad, really messed up story about a girl, Gypsy, who basically her mother controlled her whole life, basically making up or